How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new video. My name is Faze Crypto. Feel free to follow us on Snapchat. And all that being said, we are talking about Stellar because there's been some amazing history in the making happening in Stellar, and I think in the years to come, people will reflect on the massive gains that Stellar has been making, and really the model that the team working behind this project have been establishing is really setting down a fundamental groundwork and a pavement that's going to be playing a big role in the cryptocurrency space for a long time to come. And ultimately, the community that's built itself around Stellar is really flexing their muscles at this time, and rightfully so. I mean, first of all, congratulations to everybody who saw this coming. There were people who were making this prediction, and those people are obviously getting credit where credit is due. And it is an interesting time in the history of cryptocurrency because it is so early in the space. So Stellar continues to shock the community because for some reason it seems like people don't do their research when it comes to these things. I could have honestly pointed you to a few people who had made this prediction before, who have essentially cited connections between XRP and Stellar, and essentially seeing where XRP currently is, it only makes sense to see those two price figures coming closer and closer to each other as time goes on. Seeing Stellar in the number 6 position, I'd really say that there's not much that separates Stellar from the being in that number 3 position where XRP is. Ultimately, I think it is only a matter of time, and as Stellar continues to develop and really come into their own, there really is a lot of potential because there's significant drawbacks that will ultimately, I think, manifest themselves as the Achilles heel in XRP that might ultimately be leapfrogged over by Stellar, but that's not necessarily knocking either one of the technologies. I think that ultimately the establishment does have a degree of confidence in both technologies. If you pay attention to where the banks and the greater establishment at large has been pointing their interest, there certainly does seem to be a place for these various different degrees of leverage of technology. And this brings me to these price speculations that we've been seeing, this potential of $100 Stellar, which would be amazing, let me tell you. And honestly, I mean, when you think about the long term, and ultimately whoever says that this is crazy, I'd just like to bring up one fundamental point, and that is, remember something called Bitcoin. Remember back in the day when, not too long ago, when Bitcoin was much cheaper than it is now, and back then nobody could have predicted that things would have escalated to this point. The volatility in the crypto space definitely does go both ways, so I would say that the potential for Stellar moving forward, there really is potential for exponential growth. I mean, especially we see the market cap where it is at 300 right now, and I think that really moving forward to 2019, especially when you think about all the different people all around the world who are going to be connecting to the internet within this next period of a few years, it really is a short time frame, and within this compacted short period of time, we could be seeing some real exponential growth in terms of these various different technologies and how we've been seeing these different developments manifesting themselves over time. And I'm definitely interested in seeing how Stellar is going to be competing with the likes of the greater the various different Bitcoins and so forth. So I mean, just looking at the news, Stellar price continues to moon, sees 10% increase in 4 hours, new deal with transfers to bring Stellar to over 70 countries. So I mean, if one cryptocurrency is leveraging that international potential that's made possible by cryptocurrency, I would say that Stellar really does have an idea of how the international world is going to be interacting in the world of tomorrow. And I think that these 70 countries are really going to be playing a big role essentially in all these different things happening. I mean, these news articles within 10 hours of each other, within 1 hour in certain cases. And moving forward, I think that all these different things are definitely compiling together. I mean, mean, certainly involving cryptocurrency and the volatility of the space, it's going to take a lot of different things happening and developments as far as regulations and the conversation that's happening about cryptocurrency at large. I'm not denying the significance of that conversation, but once that really gets underway, I really think that these establishment technologies are very much waiting for the cue to really go to the moon. So I think we could be expecting some good things. I mean, this is all my opinion, of course, but I definitely could see Stellar having that sort of reputation in the community that's built around it. It really does have the potential with the various different technologies that have been developing up until this point. Let's be honest here, any cryptocurrency can go up in value when the entire market's skyrocketing, but it really does separate the good technologies from the bad technologies, for lack of a better word, when we see the current situation that's going on with the market as it currently stands. It's not necessarily a great market, but it is a healthy one, considering the fact that Bitcoin was at $6,000 and it's made significant gains this week. But ultimately, it is interesting to see Stellar today, of all days, having this upward mobility. I mean, obviously, this is renewed confidence in Stellar, I'm sure, for the overall community. I mean, I've been paying attention to Stellar for a very long time now, and really I've been paying attention to it because a lot of the things that I mentioned earlier about the trends of how the establishment goes, and essentially I've been paying a lot of attention to XRP and seeing how these various different banks and these institutional moves have been made in accordance with a multitude of different variables that have really been coming together in a short amount of time. And I think that Stellar, I mean, it is a branch off from XRP, so you can expect to be seeing a lot of similar things happening from both ends of the spectrum. But I mean, Stellar definitely deserves credit where credit is due. I'm not going to lie, there's definitely a lot of interesting developments that have been happening in regards to this technology. And overall, I'm pretty excited to be seeing where we could be expecting Stellar to be going in the next year or so forth. We've been seeing a lot of interesting price predictions, involving XLM, and it is one of the more interesting developing times, with this sort of early stages of cryptocurrency being where it is right now. I was seeing some interesting price predictions. I mean, could Stellar go to $100 USD? Some interesting news articles always. Obviously, it is interesting to see this sort of figures and so forth, and ultimately, I'm definitely going to be interested in seeing how things are going to be developing from here on out. But also remember, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is not financial advice. This video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. So of course, remember, do your own research when it comes to these things. I mean, make sure that you're following Stellar on their social media yourself. So time will definitely tell as these developments happen. I'm definitely going to be watching very closely, and actually I'm going to be including a link to this video down in the description, so that if you guys want to hear another person's perspective and go more in detail regarding the things that we talked about in this video, definitely feel free to check the description and check out this content. But yeah, I mean, a lot of interesting things happening with Stellar XLM over these past few hours. And of course, you guys can connect with us on social media as well. Make sure that you guys connect with us on Twitter and so forth. It is awesome to see how much this channel has actually been growing in such a short amount of time. I mean, right now, this channel actually has reached a milestone, and we, I'd just like to thank everybody. Just take this opportunity, while we're all together, here in this, community and so forth. We have recently reached important milestone of 20,000 subscribers. So, just like to thank everybody who's made this possible and helped us come this far, because we're looking forward to hopefully one day reaching 30,000 subscribers. So make sure that you're subscribed to the channel with post notifications turned on. And if you guys enjoyed this video, found it informative, found the information in this helpful, make sure that you share it with anybody you know who likes cryptocurrencies or all those different things. And all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this content. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.